7th grade basketball team.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Breithaupt Hall of Fame induction. This is really a pleasure to gather this group of not only Wildcat athletes, but Wildcat supporters. We truly believe that what the Hall of Fame does is gives us an opportunity to honor the athletic accomplishments of some really outstanding student athletes who found their way through Westminster by excelling not only in the classroom, but out on the fields and the courts and across our athletic program, and really continued and further established a legacy that gave our students today really something to live up to. And so everything that all of our inductees did during their time here is something that really lives on for us and is deeply important to us, our current student athletes, coaches, and our whole athletic program in terms of carrying forward a legacy, carrying forward a winning tradition, and carrying forward the values that were so much a part of this program when all of our former athletes were in it, and still lives that way today. But as much as that is true, it is also the case that sitting around the tables are people who did a lot of like out of town trips to go on travel teams, who hauled around buckets of ice and drinks and got late night runs to go grab our former athletes from their games, who supported these athletes through wins and losses. And so this induction also honors each one of you who supported these outstanding careers and says, both from us and I know on their behalf, thank you. This is really a great opportunity for us to acknowledge that no one does this alone at Westminster. All of our students and athletes have incredible webs of support around them, and we certainly want to acknowledge that today and say thank you to all of the family and friends who are here who cheered on these athletes. We've got a really great program here where we're going to profile the accomplishments and some of the really great things that happened over the course of these careers. And so without further ado, I want to hand over to Shannon Soros, our athletic director, to get us kicked off. Shannon?
Thank you, Keith. Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome as we honor our 2026 Breithaupt Athletic Hall of Fame induction class. Jack Kaelane, Tyler Hilliard, Tanner Kaplan, Katie McGahan, Caroline Rawls, Cabell Zakis, and Coach George Berry. It's a true pleasure to be here with all of you as we celebrate individuals who have brought great distinction to our Westminster community. Excellence is found around every corner here, in our faculty and staff, our families, and especially our students. Wildcats are curious, they're driven, intelligent, and hardworking. It's in our DNA. Today, we have the privilege of recognizing some of the finest examples of that excellence. The Breithaupt Athletic Hall of Fame, named in honor of Charlie Breithaupt, a longtime head of the upper school, was established in 1972 to recognize outstanding athletic achievement at Westminster. It stands as a lasting tribute to our most distinguished athletes, coaches, and contributors, and as a reminder of the power of athletics in shaping character and community. We're also joined this afternoon by several past Hall of Famers who have returned to celebrate with us. And I'd like to ask all Hall of Fame members present to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for being here and for setting the standard that inspires our student athletes today. Every generation of Wildcats stands on the shoulders of those who came before. Each builds upon the foundation laid by teammates, coaches, and families who poured into Westminster and our athletics community. The phrase, "leave the jersey in a better place," couldn't be more fitting for this evening's honorees. Jack, Tyler, Tanner, Katie, Caroline, Cabell, and George. Through their stories, we're reminded of what makes sports such a powerful teacher, the beauty of the process, the importance of team over self, and the lessons that last beyond the scoreboard. Tonight, we celebrate these inductees and the greater Westminster family who supported them, teammates, coaches, teachers, and parents. We're celebrating community. We're celebrating excellence around every corner. So let's begin. Our first inductee is Jack Kaelane, a standout for Westminster track and field, excelling in both pole vault and triple jump. Jack won back-to-back GHSA 3A state championships in the pole vault in 2016 and 2017, earned 2 mile split all-state first team honors, 2 Powerade All-Metro awards, and was named a mile split All-American not once, but twice. He remains Westminster's all-time record holder in the pole vault and ranks number 12 all-time in Georgia history, with a vault of 16.5.25. His performances helped lead the Cats to a state runner-up finish in 2017, and after Westminster, Jack went on to compete for Princeton University. We'll hear from Jack's former coaches, and once the video concludes, please join me in welcoming Jack K. Elaine to the stage for his remarks. Take a look.
Jack was an extremely talented pole vaulter. He obviously broke records, and he obviously set records with the state, with the region, with our school. He was so incredibly good that in pole vaulting, you set up a bar and or a bungee, and kids are trying to get over that bar and trying to get higher and higher. Jack was so good that he couldn't even practice until the end of practice when everybody else was done, because his bar literally was set so high.
Jack has a combination of tenacity, fearlessness, and a willpower that is absolutely inspirational. And so you have to be fearless when you're launching yourself, 16, 17 feet into the air, hoping that you land on the pit. And, to be able to do that with the type of fearlessness that Jack demonstrated was incredible.
Jack was going for a PR, and he just was standing, he's this tall, lanky kid that was just standing there on the runway and starts clapping. And the whole crowd's like, okay. And so we start clapping, and it gets faster and faster and faster. And Jack PRs. And we're like, oh my gosh, let's do it again. So he waits a little while, and it happens again. And then it kind of became Jack's thing where he went for so many PRs that I felt like we were clapping almost every meet at times.
This tenacity, this fearlessness, all coming together made Jack just a ferocious competitor, but a good-natured competitor at the same time. He became great friends with those, rivals that he had, but no matter how high they jumped, Jack was going to jump higher.
So Jack, I know that I was coaching you, but I do think that you coached me, and you also coached a lot of other people, not just in the sport, but in life. I think you showed a lot of younger vaulters and a lot of your peers what it means to be a team player at an elite level. So you were the best at pole vaulting, but you were also the best teammate. And I think that a lot of the kids carry that to this day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this honor, Coach Klontz or Coach Stout. Dad, thank you so much. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. It's great to see so many people here today who I haven't seen in so many years. Thank you to my family for being here. We had people travel from Boston, from New York, from Chicago. And thanks, Coach Klontz, for being here. You are a fearless leader through so many adventures. I would also like to mention somebody who's not here today. Coach Jones and I could be very similar. We're both passionate, driven, opinionated, and stubborn, which could make for some very spirited conversations when we disagreed on things. But going back to when he was my 8th grade science teacher, and I used to come to his classroom during lunch breaks to play with all the different toys he had in there and try to build things, to when he was my coach, he always had my back, and he meant so much to so many people, and he is dearly missed. My pole vaulting career began with failure. In 7th grade, I tried out for the middle school lacrosse team, and Coach Souza heartlessly cut me. So I did track instead. Everyone on the track team wanted to try pole vaulting, and it was the only event that people could get cut from. And for whatever reason, Coach Cutbirth chose me out of 15 or so other 7th grade boys. I don't know why, but it changed my life. When I started pole vaulting, I had no ambition of state titles or a collegiate career. I did it because it was fun. An adult handed a skinny kid with ADHD a big stick and said, "Jump as high as you can." That was the coolest thing in the world, and I loved every second of it. The great Earl Bell, a former world record holder and Olympic medalist, once told me, "Jack, you perfectly embody the 3 F's of a great pole vaulter. You're fast, you're fearless, and you're stupid." And it's true, there is something a little weird about all pole vaulters. I was never the strongest or the fastest guy out there, but I studied film for hours a day, analyzing every component of my jump, comparing it to the professionals, just trying to get better. And I did this because I loved the sport. That was my superpower. That's what made me so successful. I loved pole vaulting. Every athlete is in a race against time, and they're trying to outrun 3 things: age, injury, and losing their love of the sport. Those first 2 come for all of us sooner or later. I don't think my hairline is the exact same as it was in those pictures anymore. And I think it's that last one, losing the love of the sport that ends most careers early. So to all coaches, it's important to remember that the best thing you can do to drive a team to success is cultivate a love for the sport. I remember my senior year, I wanted to set the school record so high that it would never be broken again. And I gave it a hell of a shot. It's up there pretty high, but I do not feel that way anymore. I remember how motivated I was and excited I was to chase down the school record set by my friend, William Stewart. Those were some of the most fun times of my career, and I got so much better. So I'd be sad to think that my legacy was a number that nobody could touch. Now, I want nothing more than to have a young kid see my name in the record book and say, "I can do better," and use that to run faster and jump higher. I want my legacy to be that motivation for somebody else, and I hope I can meet them when they do it. Thank you so much for this honor. It means the world to that skinny kid with a big stick.
Congratulations, Jack. Next, we honor Tyler Hilliard, a key leader for the Westminster boys soccer team. Tyler helped guide the Cats to 2 state finals appearances in 2008 and 2009, and a 2011 GHSA state championship where he scored the game-winning goal. A captain in his senior year, Tyler was twice named Team MVP, Best Attacking Player, Georgia All-Star, and earned both NSCAA All-South and All-American honors. Known for his leadership on and off the field, he continued his career at Syracuse University and Duke University, where he again was selected captain. After the video, please welcome Tyler Hilliard to the stage for his remarks. Take a look.
We don't usually get transfer players at Westminster, so he's one of the few that have actually have happened, and then also that had a huge impact in the program. He was instantly a leader, and the class that he's banded with have a lot of great players and great stories.
He had the ability to deliver a ball that was looping and easy for people to handle. And so a lot of goals got scored off of that. And interestingly, on the same team was young Harrison Butker, who kicked the ball like he was trying to punish the devil. And his balls were harder to handle.
2011 state final. We go over to Greater Atlanta Christian. We had been beaten by them a couple weeks before at the end of the regular season. It's a very raucous crowd, facing a lot of pressure. I remember we gave up a PK in the first 5 minutes, but our goalkeeper was able to save it. We go down 1-0. They score right before the half. And into the second half, we get a chance for a penalty kick. Tyler takes the penalty kick. We go up. We score another goal a little bit later, and that puts us through 2-1. And winning at that field was awesome because we were we won on enemy ground. And I still remember Tyler running to these, they had a concrete wall, and the stands are kind of like probably about 8 feet up. But our team followed him, but he ran and climbed up that wall, and fans were jumping down. And it was just, I mean, I think we probably stayed on that field for another 45 minutes with it. And it was also great because it was the same day he had graduated.
So Tyler, you know, I've lost touch. And so I wish you would sort of lead the soccer team in coming back to see us and to tell us what's going on in your life, because I expect there have been great things based off of what I saw when I knew you when you were young. I'm sure of that. And I'd love to catch up with you and hear about it, and wish you all the best through the rest of your days.
Tyler, really proud of you. Okay, it's been a while since we got to be together, so I'm looking forward to that. But you are emblematic of what I want in a soccer player and a person, and I'm just very proud of you.
Hi, everyone. I'll admit, I didn't know I was speaking today, so bear with me. And frankly, you know, I think it's pretty consistent. Like, I live in LA. This is my first time back since 2019. Coming to this was really about like having an opportunity to reflect on my career and my life. 32 years old now. And first thing I did when I came into the campus today was like go and stop at the soccer. And I really have to thank Coach Schneider for a lot of the lessons that he gave me. I came in as a freshman, hard-headed, club soccer guy, knew I was going to play college soccer, thought I knew it all, and Coach Schneider was like, I don't really care. Like, I think I squeaked onto the team the freshman year. Obviously, as you guys heard, won a state championship my last year, but it was sort of the lessons that were instilled in me a lot because of Coach Schneider that like helped me be successful as a Division I soccer player. Because very similarly, like when I got to college, I got redshirted, and it really bothered me. I was like probably 165-pound, 17-year-old getting to campus, thought I was going to play, and it didn't happen. Actually, I sat in the stands my freshman year at Syracuse, and instead of quitting, I sort of like had to think through where Coach Schneider would have me come to lifts at 5 o'clock in the morning during my club season. And that's what I had to do. I had to go back to work at Syracuse. So, because of that work, I was fortunate enough to play in 2 Sweet 16 tournaments at Syracuse. We were the #1 ranked team in college, all of Division I sports or soccer. I went on to Duke, got to captain that program as well. And then that was it. When soccer finished, it really didn't matter, and I had to look back and see like what is my identity beyond soccer, and it's really like hardworking and discipline and rolling your sleeves up. All things that Coach Schneider instilled in the program were reasons why we were successful. Also we lost 2 state championships. I don't remember what years. It's been quite some time, and we won the last year, right? So like I really just want to come back and say thank you as well to Donna and Dawn. I spent one of the seasons here at Westminster in the locker room. I mean, sorry, not the locker room, the training room entirely. There was also lessons in that which were about resilience, because it frustrated me not to be able to play. Went to Syracuse, something similar happened. Ended up back under the surgeon table, missed one of my years there. I've had 4 surgeries since I've seen you guys. But yeah, so again, like you guys, I mean, my family's not even here because they live in LA now, as do I, and I really, really appreciate you guys showing up for me. You guys are obviously my family, and Coach Schneider even watched a lot of my games during college, so really appreciate it. Congrats everybody, and thanks for bearing with me.
Congratulations, Tyler. Our next inductee, Tanner Kaplan, was a dominant defender and leader for Westminster girls soccer. As a senior captain, she anchored the defense in the 2013 GHSA State Championship, helping the Cats defeat a heavily favored GAC team in one of the program's most memorable victories. Tanner earned the Golden Ball as team MVP, was named All-Area, and continued her career at Wofford and Baylor University before signing a professional contract with Bika Kazigurt, competing in the UEFA Champions League in 2019. After hearing from her former coaches and friends on screen, please welcome Tanner Kaplan to the stage for her remarks. Take a look.
I can make this simple by saying that Tanner was the single most important player and the single most important year of my entire tenure as head coach. That she single-handedly changed our team and our culture and our program.
Tanner was an amazing young lady here at this school. I had the pleasure of teaching her in middle school. She was hardworking, she was dedicated. We didn't get the state championships when she was a freshman or sophomore or junior, but she never faltered from the team and doing what was best for the team and building the program, I think, what continued after she left.
The day before the state final, she tweaked her ankle and everybody thought, oh gosh, that's it, that it's over. But she came back the next day and played and didn't show any signs at all. We won state, and it was the first time in quite a while. And we beat a much, much better team on paper. It had everything to do with the leadership that came from the seniors that year, and Tanner in particular. She was an absolutely elite player, but we'd had a number of elite players over the years. There's a difference between a star and a leader, and stars look better compared to everyone else, whereas a leader helps everyone look better. And Tanner had star quality as a player, but it was her leadership that really made such a difference that year.
Tanner, I am so very proud of all that you have accomplished in your time here at Westminster. It's your time at Wofford.
Tanner, I am so proud and happy to see you inducted into the Hall of Fame. When you texted me after you got the notification and wanted to know if I had anything to do with it, you bet your bottom dollar I had something to do with it.
Coach Kaya speaks super highly of you, and I hope you go on to continue to do amazing things.
I know it feels great to look up and see 2013 on that banner, but I also absolutely want you to know that there are a whole string of state championships after that have your fingerprints all over them, because we don't become the program that we become without your influence and what you did for us and what you meant for us and what you meant to me.
Thank you so much. To all of my coaches, Coach Meyer, Chalby, and Coach Bynum for being here, as well as my mom, my dad, friends. Trainers definitely deserve a shout out. That was one of many ankle tweaks that I suffered throughout my career. But yeah, leading up to today, I was reflecting on all of the soccer teams I've played for, which include club teams, college teams, semi-professional teams, a professional team, and of course, Westminster soccer. And without a doubt, playing at Westminster was the most rewarding athletic experience of my life. Probably for two main reasons that I can think of, which is one, our team chemistry. As Coach Meyer mentioned, we had amazing players on our team, but I think our X factor really was the bonds that we shared off the field, of which I'm so grateful for. Just 2 weeks ago, I was a bridesmaid in my fellow center back Sam Batty's wedding, who I met through Westminster soccer. So those are just ties that I've taken through my whole life and that I really cherish. And secondly, the main reason it was such a special experience is because of the coaching. I felt like Coach Meyer and all my coaches really fostered an environment of trust and respect with me as a player that I didn't necessarily get in other environments. And you talk a lot about my leadership, but it was solely because I was given the environment to grow so much as a leader in my 4 years playing for Coach Meyer. So I loved Westminster soccer. I was so motivated for the team, but it was really because of Coach Meyer and Chalberg and Coach Bynum who allowed me to develop as a person and as a leader that I feel like we were so successful. And so many of those qualities I still take in my everyday life. So overall, this was just one of the most special times of my life, and I'm so honored and so grateful to be here today. So thank you.
Congratulations again, Tanner. Katie McGahan was a 4-year starter in goal for Westminster girls lacrosse and one of the most decorated players in program history. A 3-time first-team All-State selection, USA Lacrosse High School All-American, and High School All-Academic honoree, Katie led the Wildcats to the 2013 GHSA State Championship and graduated as Westminster's all-time leader in saves with 417, as well as all-time leader in wins with 48. She also represented Georgia on the national tournament team in 2014 and 2015 and ranks among the program's best in goals against average and single game saves, including 17 in a 2015 playoff win over St. Pius. Katie went on to compete at Cornell University. We'll hear from Katie's former coaches, and once the video concludes, please join me in congratulating Katie and welcoming her to the stage for her remarks. Please see.
Katie's the best goalie this program has seen. And she played at a time when we were playing really competitive competition. She made great saves, but it was more than that. It was her leadership, the way she carried the team, encouraged other people.
Katie was really, in a way that I've never had before, a coach on the field. That she didn't just understand her position, she understood what the entire defense was supposed to do, but not just what the individual responsibilities were. It was her ability to direct traffic, get everyone in the right position over the field. So her senior year, Baldwinsville, a school from New York, this hotbed upstate team comes down to Georgia.
And we probably had no business playing them. They had a big lacrosse tradition.
They clearly viewed us as this warm-up game, just kind of shake the cobwebs loose coming back in the season. And we were determined to be the first team from Georgia to beat a team from upstate New York. And they opened the game winning the first 3 draws.
We ended up winning the game 9-8. Katie had 13 saves. Their goalie had 3. So, rarely can you just pin a win on one athlete, but in that case, Katie really saved the game, including a shot that went off right at the last buzzer of the game.
We ended up being the first team from Georgia to beat a team from New York that day.
Congratulations, Katie, on your much-deserved induction into the Westminster Athletic Hall of Fame. I know I'm a better coach for having worked with you, and certainly enjoyed not just the things you did for our program on the field, but for things you did for them off the field as well, the way you led others, encouraged others, and really made everyone on the team a better player and a better person. Certainly incredibly proud of you and all the things that you've done in this sport, and just excited to be here to celebrate the day with you.
Katie, congratulations on entering into the Breithaupt Hall of Fame. You are one of the greatest players that I've ever had a chance to work with on the field. You are one of the greatest leaders that I've seen on the field, working with your teammates. You are an incredible student and student class officer, and just the way that you led on campus and on the field. And we're so excited to have your name etched in glass for the rest of Westminster's history.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Batch and Watts, for those kind words. This is an incredible honor, and I grew up looking at those names in Turner, so it's pretty surreal to think that my name is going up there too. I was reflecting on my time at Westminster, and a couple of stories came to mind. So as a lot of you probably know, I have an older sister and a brother that also went to Westminster, and Morgan's here too, my other triplet. And when I was in 7th grade, as many 7th graders at Westminster do, I had to pick which sports I was going to try out for. So my sister, I remember her getting me in her Honda CRV, and we're driving to the West Paces Ferry Chick-fil-A. She looked at me and she goes, "You'll be on the cross country and lacrosse teams." And it was very definitive. And cross country was easy because it was a no-cut sport. I did not play lacrosse. So I was like, I got to figure out how to join the lacrosse team. And I remember we went to some meeting, and Coach Watts was pitching it to us. And he said, if you try out as a goalie, you'll make the team. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. And it would have been super easy for them to throw me in the goal and just let me figure it out. they didn't do that. Coach Watts and Batch and Jana Kaufman and the JV coaches and the junior high coaches worked with me immensely hard. They came to before practice and after practice. They shot on me. They taught me what it meant to be a teammate and a leader. And so I'm just super grateful for them. The investment that Westminster puts in their student athletes really shaped who I am, and their investment in me kind of brought me to where I am today. I was also trying to write about a great win and speak about a great win. And I do remember beating Blessed Trinity in the state semifinals. But other than that, I can't really remember any of them. What I do remember are the little moments with my teammates. I remember Cabell shooting on me for very long hours at the summer camp. I remember listening to songs with Mally Egan before every game. I remember Andy Crandy trying to teach me how to do a pull-up, and I never got one. And in my 4 years of undergrad and my 2 years of business school at Cornell, I still never got one. And so some of my best times at Westminster were just with my friends. It's my support system. They've been my friends for 20 years. And so that's what really, really stands out to me. And then last, I mentioned before, I played at Cornell for 4 years. I stuck around for my MBA, and I played through that. And I was lucky enough to be a captain for a couple of those years. And I really learned how to be a teammate and a leader here. I loved being a Westminster athlete. It was probably one of the highlights of my life. And so this is just an incredible honor. I wanted to say thank you to Watts, Bats, Jana, Coach Eubanks, and Coach Carvis, who coached two sports that I was considerably worse at. Coach Hughes, Coach Jones, all of my teachers, Mr. Martin, my band teacher, college counselors, athletic training staff, Coach Lugas in the weight room, and then my family, who this is probably one of the last lacrosse things you'll have to sit through, so congratulations. My dad, my mom, my two siblings, Sarah's, who's not here, Uncle Martin, Aunt Casey, Grandma, thank you, and then all my friends. So thank you all so much.
Congratulations, Katie. Caroline Rawls was a 4-year starter and one of the most accomplished players in Westminster softball history. A 2-time captain and 3-time All-Metro Atlanta First Team and All-Region First Team selection, Caroline earned Northside Neighbor Player of the Week honors and was named the team's Gold Glove Defensive Player of the Year. She ranks among Westminster's top 5 all-time in nearly every major category, including batting average, hits, runs, and on-base percentage, and she still holds the program record for putouts. Following graduation from Westminster, Caroline attended Yale University. After the video, please join me in welcoming Caroline to the stage for her remarks. Please take a look.
Caroline is an exceptionally skilled athlete. She has great hand-eye coordination. She's got great foot speed. She has great bat speed with strength. I remember one time at Holy Innocents, I was sitting in the dugout and I just watched her flick her wrist and drive the ball over the left field fence. And I sat there and thought, wow, what skill. As a first baseman, what was so great about her skill level at first base is I could just pencil her name in the lineup every game for 4 years, and I didn't have anything to worry about. That was a great stress buster for a coach to have an athlete like that.
Caroline certainly left her mark in the Westminster softball program. Her offensive and defensive statistics still rank in the top 5 of every offensive and defensive category. She has endured the true testament of time of others that have come through the program, and yet her numbers still are in the top 5 of all those categories. But for me, it wasn't about what she did individually. It was about what she did for the team, as Caroline was the ultimate team player. This photo sat on my desk for 17 years. and it's Caroline's jersey after the Lanier Point tournament. And as you can see, she left it all on the field. And that's what I love about Caroline, is that in my 30 plus years of being a softball coach, Caroline Rawls is the number one ultimate consummate team player that I ever coached. And that's the highest praise that I can give to a softball player.
For 4 years, she was involved in 94 wins, 26 in one season, which is still a record, and the leader of a team that was ranked in the top 10 at the end of the season for 4 straight years. She was responsible for leading us to 3 in-season tournament wins against all larger schools where we had to win 6 games over the weekend, and we did it for 18 wins. And that's only a tip of the iceberg on what she led us in accomplishing.
Congratulations, Caroline, on your induction into the Westminster Hall of Fame. What a well-deserved honor. I just want to let you know how proud I am of you. Without a doubt, you are one of the best softball players that has ever worn the green and white. Your entire family is very proud of you. And I know for a fact that your dad up above is looking down on you at this moment and jumping for joy. Congratulations again, Caroline. We are all very proud of you.
Caroline, you simply gave me so many memories, and your respect and pleasantness, effort, and laser focus when you're on the field made all great memories for me. And I would just like to tell you that I feel your husband is blessed to be married to you. I feel your kids are blessed to have you as their mom. I just hope that God continues to bless you. And again, congratulations, Rawlsy.
All right, good afternoon. That was so nice. I'm still kind of processing how touched I am by that video. So thank you, Coach Hughes and Coach McGuire. I'm so honored to be inducted today into the Breithaupt Athletic Hall of Fame alongside such incredible athletes and coaches. When I received my letter in the mail notifying me of this event, I must have read it 10 times to make sure there wasn't some typo. How did my name get on this list? I don't know. But I guess we're here, so it's real. It's hard to capture in words what the Westminster softball experience meant to me over my 4 years. I loved it. I was energized to be part of a team bigger than myself and forged longtime friendships that I still maintain today. And I learned that with really, really hard work, you can truly squeeze out every little ounce of athletic advantage, even when the odds are stacked against you. Our team mantra when I was in high school was believe. And we really did need to believe in ourselves because we were often outmatched and definitely outsized in a lot of the games we played. And yet we made the most of our talents and were competitive when we probably shouldn't have been. And that really is a testament to our incredible coaches, Coach Hughes and Coach McGuire. They are some of the greatest coaches and mentors that this school has ever had. And I know I'm not the only former player of theirs to say that. So I'm really honored to be here today with them. Tonight is extra special for me because, as you've probably seen, I'm able to share this celebration with my 3 daughters, Sophia, Cece, and Madeline. And while it remains to be seen whether any of my athletic talents survive the genetic shuffle with my husband, and after watching my daughter's inaugural soccer season this fall, I fear they did not. But I can only hope for them that they pursue something in their adolescent years in middle school and high school that they're just as passionate about as I was about softball. I hope they find something that grows their confidence, ignites their competitive spirit, and inspires them to lead by giving everything they have to a collective team effort. That's really what Westminster softball did for me. So girls, we're here tonight. Mommy used to be able to run faster than a jog. Like, my knees didn't always crack like this. I used to have it. But thank you, everyone. I'm really honored to be here, and congratulations to everyone tonight.
Congratulations again, Caroline. Kapelzakis stands among the most prolific scorers and playmakers in Westminster girls lacrosse history. A 4-year starter, Cabell helped lead the Wildcats to the 2013 GHSA State Championship, the 2015 State Finals, and 4 consecutive area titles. She was named a USA Lacrosse High School All-American in 2016, earned first team All-State honors twice, and represented Georgia on the national tournament team. Cabell graduated as Westminster's all-time leader in goals with 258, as well as their all-time leader in assists with 191, and points, 449, while also setting multiple single game and single season assist records. She went on to play collegiately at Furman University. Let's hear from some of Cabell's former coaches, and following the video, please join me in welcoming her to the stage for her remarks.
Cabell is the all-time leading scorer for Westminster girls lacrosse, goals scored. She's also the all-time leading player for assists. And usually, people are good maybe at one or the other. She excelled at both. She certainly could score a goal when she wanted to score, but she had a way of getting other people involved and helping other people play better and kind of rise up to the occasion.
Cabell Zakis is one of the fiercest competitors that I ever saw on the field. If we were playing a team that we knew was just a warm-up game, we also knew that Cabell was going to be the first girl to get the ball, go straight to cage, and send the message that we're not messing around with this team. But just as importantly, when we were playing some of the top teams, whether it's Upper Arlington from Ohio, Episcopal from Texas, teams across the state of Georgia, we knew that not only did Cabell want the ball in that first possession to send a message to the other team that we're here to play, we also knew that in the last minute of the game, nobody wanted the ball in her stick more than Cabell, and there was nobody that the coaches and teammates trusted with the ball in her stick at the end of the game more than her.
Cabell and Katie worked so well together, and they were great friends, and they encouraged each other. And of course, Cabell loved to shoot, and Katie was a goalie, so she was taking Cabell's shots, and they were constantly working together. And there was one time when we had a game, there were probably 12 fans up there. It was a home game. I'm not sure we were playing anybody that competitive, but Cabell rolled the crease, shot high, and shot right into the goalie stick. And the first thing you heard after that shot was Katie on the other end of the field, "Cabell, stop shooting high," because they had been working on that all year in practice. They're both beneficiaries of having played with each other.
Cabell, congratulations on making it into the Breithaupt Hall of Fame. You're the leading scorer in program history. There's no person that deserves to be in here more than you. I love the opportunity of coaching you for 4 years. I also wanted to say that some of my favorite years coaching on the sidelines were the 3 years where you were an assistant with us on the staff. And I'm always going to be grateful for the way that you took the offense under your wing the year that I was interim coach. Congratulations. We're so excited to see you in the Hall of Fame hallway going forward, and congratulations.
Congratulations, Cabell, on your induction into the Westminster Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm not sure this program has ever seen anyone like you on the field, especially on the offensive end. It was certainly a pleasure to coach you, and certainly there's so many things that you did that made my job easier. While they may have had other names, most of our plays in my head were simply, how can we get Cabell the ball in this situation? Proud of you, incredibly accomplished for all the things that you've done and the effort that you put forth. Your commitment to the school, playing multiple sports, I think is incredibly admirable, and just excited to be able to share this day with you and to celebrate your accomplishments at Westminster.
Thank you to Westminster for this incredible honor, and congrats to the other inductees, especially my longtime teammate, Katie. I was lucky to have 12 varsity seasons wearing the green and white, playing softball, basketball, and lacrosse. First, I want to say thank you to Coach McGuire for always believing me and hitting me countless fly balls after practice every day. I've always looked up to you as a person and coach and seek to emulate your leadership and integrity. To Coach Carvis, thank you for being a constant presence on and off the court, for making me a better person, and for teaching me that investing in yourself is the differentiator on the court. And thanks for always getting me in shape before lacrosse season. To Coach Batchelor, thank you for always being the voice of reason, and for ensuring that Westminster always has the strongest defense. I'll always be grateful for the 4 years I had playing under you and the 3 years I was lucky enough to coach alongside you. To Coach Watts, thank you for spending countless hours at the summer camp shooting with me, starting in 7th grade and continuing on until graduation. Thanks for believing in me, believing that I can make an impact, and showing me that the extra hours of hard work is what matters in the big moments. You have an incredible ability to see the bigger picture, develop impactful players, and run an incredible program. My dad always tells me the story of one of my first varsity games. A senior parent, trying to be helpful, told my dad to not be impatient as a freshman's dad. Someday, he said, she'd get her turn. Little did we know Coach Watts had a different plan. I was in the starting lineup the next day. You really believed in me, and I will always be grateful. To my siblings, thank you for always pushing me to be my best. To Ned for beating me in every backyard competition. To Paige for nicely telling me that tennis might not be the best sport for me, which led me to pick up a lacrosse stick. And to Virginia for being at nearly every game and always giving me a play-by-play recap. To my parents, somehow you still had energy left, even with the 4th kid. You instilled in all of us a competitive spirit and gave us the resources needed to achieve our success in our respective sports. Mom, thank you for giving me the love of lacrosse, cheering the loudest, showing up in all the green and white swag, and for taking meticulous stacked notes in your tiny notebook that you keep to this day. Dad, thank you for never sugarcoating my performance, for being my biggest cheerleader, and for always being there through every high and low. Seeing you both in the stands always kept me motivated, and I appreciate the Powerade deliveries at every halftime. Your support and realism taught me how to compete and how to believe in myself. Some of my favorite Westminster memories include being a part of the first softball team to ever make the Elite Eight in Columbus, my dad being the voice of the Batcats at every home softball game, Coach Batchelor and Coach Watts showing up in matching plaid pants, taking a picture with Jeff Rancourt, Coach Carvis's brother, after my teeth were knocked out during my final basketball game, Coach Lugas deciding I should only be referred to as Leafy Green, winning the state championship as a freshman in lacrosse, Westminster being named the #1 sports school in the nation that same year, beating Cambridge in the pouring down rain during playoffs, scoring in the final seconds against BT in the semifinals my sophomore year, and returning to Westminster as a community coach for 3 seasons of lacrosse and 1 season of varsity softball. I am the person I am today because of Westminster, and more specifically, because of Westminster Athletics. This place taught me how to set a goal, work for it, and achieve it. I'm grateful for the teammates who became lifelong friends, and coaches who taught me what it means to work hard for something bigger than yourself. Thank you again for this honor. I hope the next Zacchaeus generation, like my niece here today, has the opportunity to experience the power of Westminster Athletics. Thank you.
Congratulations, Cabell. Our final inductee this evening is Coach George Berry, a cornerstone of Westminster Athletics for nearly 4 decades. George served the school for 39 years, including 38 as a full-time faculty member, coaching across football and wrestling at multiple levels. He led the 9th grade and JV football teams and served as both middle school and varsity wrestling coach, including a term as the head of wrestling program in 2005-2006. During his tenure, his teams contributed to 1 football and 7 wrestling state championships, as well as multiple region titles. A Prep Nationals finalist and wrestling All-American himself, George received Westminster's Merrill Award in 2001 and the Catbackers Award in 2006. Known for his mentorship, his consistency, and steady presence, he has shaped generations of student athletes, many of whom credit him for the lessons that extended far beyond the mat or the field. Even in retirement, he continues to serve as a volunteer coach with middle and upper school wrestling. We'll first hear from some of George's presenters, followed by his remarks on stage. Thanks.
One of the toughest jobs that an athletic director has is filling all the coaching spots. And Westminster has 75 teams, and the Lord knows how many coaching spots. And the teaching spots are limited, and Westminster's kept adding sports, but they didn't add teaching spots. So to find somebody like George Berry, and this is pun intended, George Berry is a godsend. Because number one, he did this for 38 years, and he taught in the Bible department, except for the first year. It's easier to coach kids that get to play with the ball. It's hard to coach kids that don't get to play with the ball. Swimmers, cross-country kids, distance runners and track, offensive linemen. Those kids are hard to coach because you got to work to make the day enjoyable for them, because their day is a grind. It's repetition, 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 and the only way you get the ball is if somebody fumbled and you happen to be near it. Now the center gets to snap it, but he doesn't get it back. And I turned George loose, and he did what he needed to do. And he's a line coach. They're hard to find. And George made football enjoyable for the linemen.
George was a mentor to me all throughout high school when I was here. He would wrestle with me in practice. He was the very first head coach when I was a freshman. So my first introduction to high school wrestling, George was in my corner. And when I got up to size, he would be my drill partner sometimes. And so I'm 16, 17 years old. I'm 200 to 230 pounds. And so you got two big guys rolling together in the corner. And he didn't take it easy on me. He beat me up a couple times, but then the tables turned at some point, and he couldn't get enough. He kept coming back for more. And a lot of my personal wrestling success, but also the things I've learned about coaching from him. And then when I came back, he was super happy to jump in and help out with varsity wrestling once I became head coach. And he never missed a beat. Exactly the same guy he was from 2005 all the way to now.
George, I was tickled pink when I found out that you were being honored by being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Over your years in both your sports have been pretty much the perfect role model for the kids that you've coached. If they just copy you and how you handled yourself, then they're going to be great citizens out there in the world. And I'm sure a lot of them already are. And that's where your value, your true value was. As you helped teach your kids, sometimes it was the 9th grade football, sometimes it was maybe even a varsity wrestler, but the younger wrestlers. You helped them grow up, and you helped them understand the values that were going to help them when they went out into the real world. And for that, I greatly appreciate you, and I'm certainly glad you're receiving this honor.
Well, George, thank you for being such a great mentor to me for my time in high school, but also my time after high school. I can't imagine coaching this team without you. Having you in the corner for especially our youngest wrestlers and most vulnerable wrestlers, you provide them a very safe space to get better and improve. And every time someone comes off the mat, when you're in their corner, even if it's a loss or a tough win or they're tired, they always learn something after they come over, shake your hand, and look you in the eye. So thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being there for countless young men. And can't wait to see you at practice next week.
I hope everyone realizes that there's a certain risk involved when you turn the microphone over to a retired person. Chances are he has more time on his hands than you do. But I'll try to behave up here. There are a number of people I would like to thank. And first, I'd like to thank Sarah Green from the Office of Institutional Advancement here at Westminster. She put this thing together. And over the course of the last few months, I have asked her dozens of questions by email or phone, and she has patiently answered every single one of them, and I thank her for that. I am also honored to be recognized on the same day as these 6 young athletes. It really is an honor for me to be recognized with you. And you are still young, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, you always will be. I'm just very grateful for the people who are here today that came. I'd like to make a special mention to some folks. There were 3 people that came in from Alabama, members of my family. My father-in-law, Dr. Bob Combs, my brother-in-law, Dr. Bart Combs, and his wife, Ginger Combs. Thanks for making the trip. And I would also like to thank my wife, Kim Combs Berry, who for more than 3 decades was a wonderful support as I did my coaching here at Westminster. There are certain slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that are experienced by the spouse of a coach. And she handled that role very, very well. I'm just going to start from the beginning. I want to thank Don Gabeline for hiring me in 1986. And I want to thank him for 2 things, actually. 1, hiring me, and 2, not firing me, because he may have felt like it. And I want to thank Bill Clarkson and Keith Evans for putting up with me over the years. I'm grateful for the athletic directors that I worked for here. Bob Ward, Rusty Hudson, Tim Downs, and Shannon Soros. I've learned something from each one of them. And in Rusty's case, and I really appreciated what he said a few minutes ago, we not only was he the athletic director, but we actually coached together for several years. For several years, the 9th grade football coaching staff was Rusty Hudson, Jack Morgan, and George Berry. And if those of you who know those 3 personalities realize that that was quite a trio. But some of my fondest memories as a coach took place at that time, working with them. I want to thank the varsity football coaches that I worked with here. Wayman Creel, Billy Ray Schmidt, and for 33 years, Jerry Romberg. And for all of the assistant coaches and sub-varsity coaches that I worked with, there's so many of them. And I'm just grateful for the people who had taken the time to come here today. I'd like to list every single one of you, but I really would be talking too long if I did that, but I really thank you. As far as wrestling goes, it's interesting that in my 39 years here, we've had 4 athletic directors, 3 head varsity football coaches, and 9 head wrestling coaches. There's been a bit of a revolving door at wrestling. But I want to say that it's been a lot of fun. I think, like LB mentioned, that back in the 90s, it was fun working for those teams that were coached by Frank Kiefer and Rob Larimore. Between then and now, I worked with a lot of great coaches and people that I really like, dear friends, such as Bobby Hayes was our head coach for 6 years. And I want to say that the wrestling program now is in very good hands, in the hands of LB Joel. LB is an interesting guy. He's the one guy who has been both my athlete and my boss. And he's done a good job at both of them. And he was actually very, very kind to me on this video when he suggested those days when we wrestled together in practice and I got the better I got the better of him. Let's just say he put a very nice spin on that. It was actually when I was wrestling with LB, particularly his junior, senior year, when I came to the realization, okay, a nice job. You spent a lot of years wrestling with these heavyweights. But from LB Joel, you have learned that the train has left the station. You can't do that. You can't do anymore. And he put me into retirement when it came to that. But more than anything, I'm very grateful to the Westminster schools. I'm grateful for the fact that they allowed me to pursue my vocation, my calling. It was, as Rusty mentioned on the video, that for all those years, I taught Bible and I coached. And some people might consider that an interesting combination. But we've always had coaches in the Bible department. That continues through this day. And if you go back far enough, way back when, there was a time when 4 football coaches were in the Bible department. So it was a while back, but it happened. But, you know, I had a chance to pursue 2 things that meant a great deal to me, teaching the Bible and coaching. And I'll be brief with this, and this is a little bit of a stretch. But back in the 80s, there was a movie called Chariots of Fire. Some of us are old enough to remember it. The rest of you, it would be worth your time to look it up on Netflix. It's one of my favorites. Now, Chariots of Fire was a movie about young men who participated for the Great Britain Olympic team in the 1924 Paris Olympic Games. One of those young men was a man named Eric Liddell, who was of Scottish descent, but he grew up in China. He was born and raised in China because his parents were missionaries in China. Well, you know, he and his siblings were born in China, and at one point the family came back to Scotland. They were on furlough from their missionary duties. And some of the officials of the Scottish athletics noticed that Eric Liddell could run very, very fast. So fast that they wanted to recruit him for the Great Britain Olympic team. And they wanted him to, while the rest of the family was going to go back to their missionary work in Scotland, Eric, the question was, should he stay behind and participate in the Olympics? And some members of the family said, well, no, he has to go back to China. That's what's really important. But others said, well, can't Eric serve God on the Olympic team? Of course, he can serve God in China, but can he serve him on the Olympic team? And it was Eric's father, who had been a missionary in China his entire adult life, who made the final decision. He said, of course, Eric is going to stay here and run on the Olympic team. Because yes, he can honor God and please God as a participant on the Olympic team. He can do that in China, but he can do it on the Olympic team as well. And the father went so far as to say, look, you can peel a spud and praise the Lord if you do it to perfection. So whatever your duty, whatever your vocation is, it is something that you can do to honor God. And indeed, Eric Liddell stayed in Scotland. He participated in the Olympics. He won the gold medal in the 400 meters. And then he returned to China as a missionary. And that was what he was until the day he died. And so, now, I realize that I'm really taking liberties when I, in any way, shape, or form, compare myself to Eric Liddell. Okay, I was never an Olympic athlete. I never ran very well. That's why I was a lineman on every football team I ever played. And I never had done anything quite so adventuresome as to teach on the other side of the world. But Eric Liddell and I have one thing in common. We both love sports, and we love the opportunity to teach the Bible. And so Eric Little's vocation involved doing both of those things. And my vocation, in my own small way, was to do both of those things. So I am very grateful to the Westminster schools for helping me to find and pursue my calling, my vocation. And I'm very grateful for all the people who along the way I got to coach with, and I got to coach, in the case of LB Joel, both. And I am very, very grateful for this honor. So thank you.
Thank you, George, and congratulations. To our newest inductees, Jack, Tyler, Tanner, Katie, Caroline, Cabell, and George, welcome to the Breithaupt Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing us to honor your journeys and for the legacy that you've left here at Westminster. This concludes our ceremony this evening, but we do invite all of our inductees and their guests to join us downstairs in Glen Atrium for refreshments and conversation. Following the reception, you'll be escorted down to Turner Gymnasium for photographs at the Hall of Fame. Later this evening, please join us for the homecoming dinner on Shane Plaza, followed by our football game, where you'll have access to our VIP viewing area at the field level. Thank you all for celebrating with us this evening, and as always, go Cats.